Hi, I'm Paul Perdue, and I am the infrastructure nerd.
And I'm Mary Jo Boyd, and I'm a legal technologist.
Document management has always been in PracticeMaster since day one, but with the advent of version 17 and the newly rewritten document management features, we have some really neat stuff like checking in and checking out documents, versioning, toolbars virtually everywhere, including Windows.
It's a much more robust program now.
Exactly, it's really come a long way.
Yeah. Can you show us how it works?
Sure. Well, there are a lot of ways that document management has changed between version 16 and version 17. I'll try and touch on all the major ways and give you a quick glimpse into each of those things. Let's look first at versioning. Versioning means that we can keep track now in PracticeMaster of different versions of a document. Now I'm going to try and find one that's got different versions. That one does not. That one does. And so when we click on the version tab, we're able to see the original document was saved as version 1. We changed a stipulation. That's the reason for version 2, and so we see that here. With this versioning tab, you can open a prior version. You can revert to a prior version. You can even use compare within Word to compare two versions. We can delete a prior version if you, for some reason, decide you don't want it. So really, it's just a matter of pulling up a document, and when you go to save it, there is a box that pops up if it's an already existing PracticeMaster managed document that says, do you want to save this as a new document or as a new version of the existing document? And that's where this versioning tab will come into play. If you say a new version, it'll ask you for a reason, and then that will show up there. Another neat new feature is the auto name. Prior to version 17, when we went into Word and started a document and went to save it into PracticeMaster, it would force us or make us or ask us to put it away ourselves, and then we got to create the document management record. Now, if I type a document and go to save it, PracticeMaster will simply ask me how I want to profile the document. What's the name? What client does it belong to? What document type? Things like that. And you'll notice that what it's going to do here is automatically name the document for me. Now let's go out and take a look at what that looks like. Here is the place where all these assembled documents are going, all these documents that are being managed are going. And we have stipulated in this demo system, this evaluation or sample system, that we're going to store the documents in folders named for the client, and then underneath that to represent the matter. And then finally, here are the documents. And these documents we have, again, in this sample system, we've said to name them first with the date, and you'll notice it's kind of a reverse logic to the date, the year, then the month, then the day, a dash, and then the name, the description that we put in. Some of our clients will also put in the name or the initials of the attorney responsible. So what this means is that you can go out and look at this file structure. There's client 100, matter 0. Here's the name of the document. You can look at these documents and their folders that hold them and see logically what goes where and what it's called. So that later on, if you need to go to these documents outside the scope of PracticeMaster, which you probably won't have to, but if you did, it makes sense. Another neat new thing is that there are all sorts of toolbars that we can set up now within PracticeMaster, actually within other programs to save those documents into PracticeMaster. So if we go into maintenance and integration and toolbar, we will now see that we've always had the Outlook and the Word. We have now Excel and Adobe and PowerPoint, and those now have certain functionality that they didn't have before. We have WordPerfect. We have a Windows Explorer, which is brand new, and that's very cool. So we can be out in Windows Explorer looking at some documents somewhere that aren't already in PracticeMaster. Maybe they're here in an old folder, and we can right-click on it and say send to PracticeMaster. And we can right-click on a whole bunch of them, either in a group or not, depending on how you mark them. And we can send them to PracticeMaster that way also. And when we do it that way, it lets us create the document management record silently, which means we're going to put these all away at the same time. and retain the unmanaged copy, and then we can put it into a specific place. So we are able now to pull documents in through Windows Explorer in such a way that they can very quickly, a whole folder, maybe mark all of the documents in that folder and send them to PracticeMaster, perhaps just certain documents, but now they can be brought into PracticeMaster very, very quickly. We also have the ability now to check in and check out. So I can take this document that's in PracticeMaster and I can check it out. Now I can either be in the document management record or I can be in the list. And what it asks me to do then is specify where I want it to go. Most people, that's going to be somewhere on your local drive or maybe a flash drive. Maybe you're going to put it straight onto a flash drive and take it home with you. And whether or not you want to open it. If you're going to put it on a flash drive and take it home, you probably don't want to open it when you check it out. You just want to put it there. By checking it out, if somebody else tries to pull up this same document before I check it back in, it's going to say, just like it would if I had it open on the network at the office, it's going to say, hey, this document's in use. Do you want to open a read-only copy? So what you've always had with PracticeMaster in the ability for it to recognize that this document's open on Bob's machine and you're trying to open it, now gets extended outside the office so Bob can take that document home with him. It's not going to be open on his machine, but when you go to try and open it, it's going to say, Bob's got this checked out. Do you want to open a read-only copy? That prevents that problem where Bob takes it home and you edit it while Bob's got it at home, and then he brings it back and puts it on top of what you edited and wipes out everything you edited. This check-in functionality allows you now to prevent that from happening. We also have some advanced hooks within Outlook, and by that I mean that we can now, if we go to PracticeMaster and click on default settings, A, we can get to these default settings right from the toolbar, but B, we can now say that for every email that we journal or calendar, that for every email that we send, we can either enable or disable the automatic journaling, calendaring, and fee entry creation from all your sent emails. It used to be this was decided on a mail-by-mail basis, an outgoing email-by-email basis. And if you changed it for one, you had to remember to go back and change it for the next one. Now we manage the default here. And now we can also turn off and on the record linking. That's just the way it knows that this email belongs with this record in PracticeMaster. And now we can also move the emails that have been journaled to a specific folder and get them out of your sent items, get them out of your inbox, but still save them and put them in a special place. So all this is now accessible straight from this button that says default settings, and we have control over these defaults without them changing every time that we change them. The defaults are always going to be constant. We can change them at will, but when we change them at will, it doesn't affect what the defaults are. That's very cool, in my opinion. Another thing that's kind of neat about the new PracticeMaster document management has more to do with email. If we pull up this email, as most of you know, if you've been using email journaling in prior versions of PracticeMaster, when it journals an email, it turns it into a journal record. Now it is very easy to regenerate that email as an email at the touch of a button. So you can take these journaled emails and recreate a fully formed, fully headered, that's a nerd term, but it's appropriate, the exact replica of that email without having to jump through a bunch of hoops. You can also take and save an email, export email as an Outlook message, so you can create a file that represents that email as it would look as an email. So if you need to answer a discovery request where you're going to produce a dozen or 24 emails, you can now recreate those emails as Outlook messages so they look exactly the way they were originally received. We have, of course, a built-in Doctype capability now within PracticeMaster's documents. So if I go here and pull up any document, we now have this ability to manage and have a Doctype. and it's built in. You could always have a field, as most of you know. The field structure and file structure within PracticeMaster is very, very flexible. And you could always have built a Doctype table or a Doctype field that had predefined values, but now it is a part of PracticeMaster. So editing the doc types and excluding or limiting who can edit and add doc types is all managed within PracticeMaster. It's not something you have to build on your own, and therefore it's something that you can manage the permissions for, which was a little more difficult to do in the past. And of course, search is now going to be right out here in the Documents menu. We had document search before, but now it's got a lot more functionality where we can pull this up here and get in here where I want to be. We can now search for specific date ranges, specific clients, specific doc types, specific users who created or were responsible for a document, all within a single search. So the search window has been greatly enhanced to offer a bunch more flexibility that can be used with other things. You can say a specific client and a certain doc type and a certain user and zero right in on a specific group of documents, all from one search. So in a nutshell, those are your changes to the document management capabilities within PracticeMaster version 17. So there you have it. Those are just some of the features that bring document management in PracticeMaster to a whole new level.
It's one more way that you can worry less
And practice more.